Hi and welcome to Led by Passion Thursday edition. Today we are with a very special guest, the owner of Kap-cakes. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Akekelwa. I run a cake and dessert business by the name of Kap-cakes. My business specializes in cakes of all sorts. We have birthday cakes, wedding cakes, and different types of desserts.
Okay, so Akekelwa, tell us about how did you start this business? When did you start the business?
Okay, so initially I lived with my parents, my dad and my stepmom. My stepmom owned a very successful cake business. So when I had graduated from university, I found myself at home for a while. So I was jobless for about 6 months. So in that time I was at home, I used to sit at home and help her because I had nothing really to do. So I would always go to her. She has a little cake shop near our house. So she would go there and work there pretty much the whole day. So I would literally just lend a helping hand. And to be honest, I didn't even realize I was learning. So I would always help her. She would tell me do this and that, but not so much, more just watching, So eventually, about 2 years later, I moved out of my parents' house, and it just literally started with one particular situation. A friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, needed a cake, and she told me, could you kindly order a cake for me from your mom? And I said, okay, but my stepmom is incredibly busy, so she does not take last minute orders. So I said, okay, let me try. And I told my stepmom, say, okay, a friend of mine needs a cake, please. She said, no, unfortunately I'm so booked, I can't. So she told me, you do it. I said, I can't, I've never done this before, I can't, And she said, no, you can. So I told her, okay, walk me through it. So she walked me through it, and I started with almost the easiest cake, because it was just pretty much throwing things together without the real art of doing cake. So I did that cake, and that was the first cake I sold to my close friend. And when I made it, I was so proud of myself. I had no idea I was literally recording and absorbing everything that I was learning during that time. I wasn't really learning, but I was just observing. I didn't know that I was learning. So you could be surprised what you could be actually grasping from certain situations, even when you think you're not even grasping anything. So that's how I began my business. It began from that very cake. And slowly I began to practice, and here we are. So.
Okay, that's a really interesting story on how you started and everything. So like how long can you say you've done the cake business from the time you learned and started doing this? How long have you been doing it? Did you invest anything to boost it to where it is today? Did you have any capital and any kind of things like that?
To be honest, I think the food industry is quite an interesting industry. I don't think you have to have an incredible amount of capital to start a food business, to be honest. A food business is more about interest and investment in time and learning. So once you're interested, I think that's the biggest investment you need for a food business. So coming back to your question, I don't think I invested so much. Okay, I have a day job. I am an economist by profession, and I work for the government, so I have a day job. So my salary from my day job is what I could say I used to merely invest in my cake business. So I started with one cake. So I'll give a technical example. These are not real numbers, but if, for instance, I need 200 kwacha for ingredients to make a cake. So I'll get my 200 kwacha and I'll make one cake. So if I make one cake from 200 kwacha and I sell that cake for 500 kwacha, that 500 kwacha buys me ingredients for 2 more cakes, and it goes on like that. And I think every other business can be related to in such a manner. I am not really for the idea of people who choose to use the capital card and say, I don't have capital to start a business. I think that's not the real issue. The real issue is, are you proactive enough to find a way to start your business. Do you really want to start it? How much time have you invested in getting to know about it and what is required about your business? Personally, I watch a lot of videos online. I'm a self-taught baker. I've never gone for any training. So even when clients send me crazy ideas of cakes and I'm like, oh, how am I going to do this? I literally just go onto the internet, the same internet that you and I have, the same internet, Google, YouTube, and I Google these things and I come up with ideas. Sometimes I juggle around these ideas and create them, turn them into my own. Sometimes I just get an idea and use it to the best of my abilities and so on. But I just don't think people should always blame capital on money. Capital could be time. Capital could be just sitting down and learning from the internet. Capital could be just interest,
Okay, so looking into the fact that you're into school, how can you say you manage your time? You doing school and the baking, how are you juggling these things?
Okay, so I actually work, yes, but now I've also added school to my plate and not forgetting family. So I have a toddler, I have a 2-year-old son, I have a job, and I have school. I'm doing my master's degree, and I have a cake business. That's a lot. A cake business is actually a very time-consuming business because, as you would imagine, you have to bake the cakes, cool the cakes, ice the cakes, decorate the cakes. That's a very time-consuming process. So juggling is all about time and how you structure your day. For me, I use that I really pay attention to how I structure it. I'll tell you, my ideal day is waking up in the morning. I have one staff member who I have trained, and I ask her, what cakes do we have today? What orders do we have? And she tells me, and I count them, and we structure out what time I need to be back from school for me to make sure I work on those cakes and have them out in time.
Okay,
so it's a lot about structure.
Sorry, in a week, how many cakes would you say you make? Like in 1 week?
So I'll start from the beginning. Like I said, every journey begins with one step. So I literally started from 1 cake a month to 1 cake in 2 weeks to 1 cake a week, and finally I'm up to about 10 cakes a week. So this has taken about 3 years. So it didn't happen overnight. It happens over, first of all, consistency, quality, customer service. All those are very important things that actually help you build your business and build your brand. Okay,
so what can you say to the young people out there who are looking into the cake business? Like, what does it take, or what is it you would advise them?
Okay, so on that question, I'm going to move away from the cake part. I'm just going to talk about business first. Like, I'm always telling young children, young boys and girls, that it's very, very important to start to be in business in this day and age, you see, because it's not a secret. Our economy is quite bad at the moment, and for you to sustain your livelihood, you need either an extra source of income or a source of income. For me, this is an extra source, and I'll tell you the truth, my cake business actually makes me much more money than my day job. But I will not quit my day job because that gives me a different level of fulfillment compared to my cake business. My cake business is my hobby, and my job is my career. So those are two different zones. But what I would say to the youth, like you've asked, is I think find something you're interested in, tap into it and invest in it. When I say invest, I'm not necessarily talking about money. I'm talking about investing in time and learning about your interests. It may be selling clothes, you name it, food, it can be cakes. Learn about cakes, do a course if you need to, go and watch videos, Google ideas or how to make cakes, try it out. I have spent so much time in my kitchen just making cakes for no reason. You would call it a waste of ingredients, but I'm investing.
Okay, so would you say this is your passion, or it's just something you ended up doing?
No, this is a passion. I love to cook and I love to bake. I am always cooking. I have friends who tell me, like, girl, you're always cooking, like we should move into your house and so on. And I'm always even sharing my recipes. I'm always posting what I'm cooking and sharing my recipes with friends, and I love it. I really love cooking and baking. So it's really a passion, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, so I believe you started doing baking classes?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay.
How is that going?
About that. So with the baking classes, that one is just basically to empower a skill. Not to share what I do, like my own recipes, because as you know, I run a business too. So that is just literally trying to help somebody else who just wants to learn how to bake. Because learning how to bake is where it begins. A recipe can be anything you want it to be. You can put in less sugar, less salt, more salt. But at the end of the day, you need to know what to do. So the baking classes have been going well so far. So yeah, I've had a few students. I'm yet to have some more. But yeah, it's been going good. And
okay, so is it also another side business, like you're making money out of it?
Definitely. Personally, I honestly believe you should make your money work for you.
Yeah.
Like, if I make money from my skill, so let's say I've invested all this time and energy into perfecting my skill. So I have used money and time into perfecting my skill. So that investment I have made into my skill, I should make that work for me. That's my money. So I make my money work for me by using my skill to make more money. And that's the only way you can get ahead in life. You need to be ambitious, you need to be consistent, you need to be disciplined, and you need to have a vision. If you don't have any of those, then...
Okay, so thank you so much. So what are the last words you can give to our viewers, the young people who are passionate about baking, but they don't know where to start from? Any advice, anything you can encourage them on?
Okay, so with regards to my final words to any young ladies or young men who have a passion in cooking, baking, or just any other business, I would really advise that you start your business slowly, allow yourself to be a beginner. Don't want to go from here to zero. I know there's many times, especially in the food industry, where you see this lavish baker or this lavish cook, and you're like, oh my God, already you want to cook like them or bake like them. It doesn't work like that. You have to allow yourself to begin. You have to allow yourself to be a beginner. So start with one step, but my biggest advice is pick something you are truly, truly passionate about. I say this why? Because when you are passionate about something, you do it with all your heart. And when you do it with all your heart, you do it to the best of your ability. So, for instance, you pick something you're not interested in, tomorrow you make a loss, you just say, okay, I'm done with this business, and you quit. But if you're passionate about something, I'll tell you, I've had bad cake days. Not every day is Sunday. I'll have bad cakes. Some days are good, some days are bad. But more good than bad is what's important, and we learn from the bad. You make a mistake once, you learn. So allow yourself to be a beginner, okay? And when you're passionate about something, even the struggle that comes with it, you welcome it, and you bask in the struggle. I mean, I have crazy days. There are days I have assignments due at the same time. Maybe I have something to do for work. I have my son crying for me to carry him. I have to cook dinner, but I have like 5-6 cakes waiting for me to be done. And I have to find a way to balance all those things in one day, one person, and still be a happy mother, be smiling to my clients, be a happy wife, you see, all those things. So it really requires you to be passionate. I mean, I have days where my legs are killing me at the end of the day, and I have to literally sit down and put my legs in a hot water bath for me to even feel sane. So there's days like that, but only if you are passionate about what you do will those days mean something to you. So find a passion, invest in it, be disciplined, have a vision, have a plan, and just do your best, and everything will be fine. The money, it all comes, eventually it comes, yeah.
There you have it. You've heard for yourself, you've heard all that you need to do. We've all heard that passion is the key. So thank you so much for joining us today. Please stay tuned next Thursday, same time. Don't forget to follow our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and yeah, let's keep learning.